Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Beginners FreeCAD series for version 1. In our previous lesson, we learnt about subshape binders and their important role in cross-referencing geometry and features from other bodies. In this lesson, we'll explore the next multi-body operation, the Part Design Clone. The Part Design Clone tool creates an exact parametric copy of either an entire body or individual features within a body, meaning that if the original is modified, the clone updates automatically. It also can be used outside of part design to pull in a solid from another workbench. Part design clones have many practical applications. They can be used in branching workflows. This is useful for different hole patterns or fixture configurations. Now we'll demonstrate designing a subject where two parts are identical up to a certain point, and then we'll create a branch from that point to create two separate parts. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0 or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. We'll demonstrate a workflow using the Part Design Clone to create a simple hinge. The hinge remains identical up to a certain point, after which it will branch into two. One body will become the male part, and another body will become the female. To start our modelling, I'm using the Part Design workbench. I'm going to create a new document. Create a new body and a new sketch along the XY plane. I'm going to be modelling the hinge from the side view. This is a simple sketch using the polyline. We'll hover over the center point and attach coincident to it. Click once, bring the line out, and attach to the horizontal axis. Click again, up, and come across about here. Right click to cancel the tool, and now we're going to use the arc tool. I'm going to use the create arc by 3 points and attach up to the end point of the polyline. Now I'm attached, let's attach up to the center, closing that shape, and we'll bring the arc out and drop it so we have this shape here. Let's right click to cancel the tool, take the center point of the arc, and then click the vertical axis, and then use the coincident constraint, which is also a point or line constraint. We've now connected the axis, and let's use the dimensioning tool. Add some dimensions. First of all, a radius of 10 millimeters, a height of 4 millimeters, and a length from the center point. Click that once. You notice that the geometry has gone orange. That's because we have a redundant constraint at the moment. But if I come over to this point here and click, we're now fully constrained. FreeCAD was just waiting for the second input. Let's drop that constraint and type in 50 millimeters and hit enter. Now got our geometry. Let's hit close. The sketch is already selected from the tree view, and we can use the pad operation. We'll set the length to 80 millimeters and then click OK. We've padded the hinge, and now we can add the drilling pattern. Let's click the top face and create a new sketch. Now, if we look to see where that's gone, we need to use the cross section through the cylinder part. We're looking for this tool here, View Section, or we can right click and choose View Section. Now we can add some circles using the Circle tool. And we add 4 circles to that face. Right click to cancel the tool, and we'll select each one of those circles. We can use the highlight selection to click and highlight them. So those are all selected. And then we can drop down the dimensioning tool and use the constrained diameter and set that to 10 millimeters. What's happened is that all of these have constrained to the same diameter. And you'll notice that equal constraints have been added to each of these circles. Let's keep these in line. We're going to take the center points and use horizontal and vertical constraint. And we'll do the same with these 2 points. Keep those in vertical constraint, and the same with these. And lastly, we'll take these 2 points, use the same tool, keep them in horizontal constraint. We have these here. Next, we'll constrain the placement of the corner points. Using the Create External Geometry tool, or right-click, Create External Geometry, and select in top left corner point, and this corner point here, where this face meets the cylinder. Right-click to cancel. We'll take this point and this one, and set a height in here of 10 millimeters. That will also constrain the height of this circle as well because of the horizontal constraint. Let's do the same for this one as well. So taking this center point and this corner point and place a constraint in here of 10 mil. Right click to cancel the tool. Let's see what we have. So at the moment, these can move back and forth, and these ones can move back and forth as well. Let's take this point and this one and place another constraint in, this time for some horizontal length of 10 millimeters. So these two now are fully constrained. We now need to constrain this circle here. Taking the point, we automatically get the constraint going into center point here. We can use that and set that to 20 millimeters. We're fully constrained, that's close out. And then select the sketch and use the pocket operation. The length is 5 millimeters, so it's gone all the way through. Let's hit OK. My next operation is to remove volume from this face to about the center point. This will allow two hinges to connect properly. Let's take the face and create a sketch upon that face. Zoom in. I'm going to use the external geometry tool again, or right click, create external geometry, and pull in this circle here. Let's take the circle tool, hover over the center point, and come out, and we can connect up with a tangent constraint. So you can see that there. Let's click. That's dropped in that circle tangent to the other circle we imported. Right click to cancel the tool, close the sketch. We'll select the sketch and create a pocket operation. We can see what's happening in here. Let's move the length up to the middle of the object, which is 40 millimeters. Let's hit OK. We have our template body. Come over to the body, right click, and rename it template body. And now we can use this body as a template with our clones. If we look at the template body, our last operation is the pocket. And we can see the little arrow on there showing it's the tip. If I click the pocket and use the clone tool or part design, create a clone, on the left-hand side, you'll see a body has been added. I'm going to click on the body and press the spacebar. It looks like nothing's happened, but what's actually happened is this body has been created with the pocket as its reference. If I click on the body, you can see the tip is the clone and it has its own placement. So I can right click on that body and transform and move this out the way. The template body is still hidden. If I press the spacebar, you can see it there. We have two bodies in there. If I open up the clone body, we can see inside there's a clone. We click on that, the base feature is the pocket that's been pulled in. So we can continue our modeling on this clone. Any changes to the template body will affect the clone, but only changes from the pocket upwards. Any new additions to the template body then that will become the new tip, but it won't affect the clone itself. So to continue our modeling, we need to make the body active. We need to double click the clone body and it becomes active in bold. Or we can right click and click on the active body to make sure there's a check mark in there. This is going to be the male part of the hinge. Let's rename and name this male body. Make sure nothing's selected and select the bottom face of the cylinder and create a new sketch. Let's use the external geometry tool, create external geometry and pull in the circle. We're looking for this center point here. I can now use the circle and hover over the center point and create a circle within. Let's add some dimensions using the dimensioning tool and set the diameter to 8 millimeters and hit enter. Let's close out. And now we'll take that sketch by selecting it from the tree view and use the pad operation. Let's look at this from the rear. Put it straight on. And we can increase the pad by 40 millimeters and click off. This hinge is now completed. Let's hit OK. This is the first hinge. Let's create our second one by going into the template body and showing it. Let's click on the pocket operation once more. And again, create a clone. Part design, create a clone. We now get body 2. Again, let's right click and transform and move the body out of the way. Let's hit OK. So now we have 2 clones of the template body from the pocket operation. Let's rename that new body. This is going to be the female body. Again, we must make it active by either double clicking or right click and select active body. It's now in bold and we can see the clone within. Again, the base feature is pocket 1. And if we look at the female body, we can see the tip at the moment is clone 001, which is this one here. Let's start adding some operations. Let's move to the side. I'm going to hide the template body and the male body and select the bottom cylinder face again. Create a new sketch and we repeat the process by using the external geometry tool to import circle and create a circle on this point here, connected coincident to the point. Let's come out, and this time, rather than using the dimensioning tool, we can type in the dimension before we drop it of 8.5 millimeters. Notice it's slightly bigger. This is to accommodate the connection of the hinge. Let's close out and select the sketch from the tree view. This time, we'll use a pocket. I'm going to select through all. That will come out the other side. And once again, hit OK. We've created our third part. So we've got the female body, the male body, and the template body. Any changes to this template body, as long as it's before the pocket or the actual pocket itself, will affect the other 2 bodies. Let's demonstrate that by changing the sketch for the holes, this one here, this pocket. Let's double click it and add, say, another circle in here, like so. Let's close that. You notice that the circle, because we've added a pocket operation on that sketch, has created the necessary circle pocket in here, and all the clones have updated. But if I took the template body and created some additional operations, let's say we added a fillet along here, and hit OK, you notice the fillet doesn't update the other bodies. And if we look back at the tree view, the fillet is now the tip operation. And we can see that on the template body, tip is the fillet. But if we look at our clone bodies and look at the clone, we can see the base feature is pocket 001, which is this one here. So these have been cloned from this feature here. So any changes to the pocket or operations above that will filter down to the other clones. But operations after will only affect that body. So that's a quick introduction and a practical example of the Part Design Clone. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Coffee at ko-fi.com/MANG0 or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. I thank everybody that's donated so far. It really helps to keep the lights on so I can produce more content and also expand the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing to these videos, and I hope to see you again in the next one.